way, see. All right, there we go. So we're gonna do a Monday morning meditation. Oh, can we? Here we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this time to go over one of the maxims that we're going through over with Monday morning maxims. Um, every Monday, I like to get up. I have to get up 1 hour early, or I won't be able to do it. I have to get up an hour early to do the Monday morning meditation. And what we do is we take time to go through the what we're doing now is the maxims to uh, to present the maxims and in a devotional kind of reminder kind of way of what we believe and kind of what we're striving for. Um, this week, um, this maxim is on agency. Now I'm going to read it to you. I'll post the notes. It's not a big thing, but I'll be reading off my notes here just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So, agency. Jedi are active in the world, acting as people of thought and thinking like people of action. Be aware that beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become words, words become action, actions become habits, habits become values, and values determine destiny. This is the maxim on agency. Now, from what we know, the idea take time to put these into our thoughts, our feelings, and our wills, our minds, our hearts, to put these into practice is the idea that we want to share. As far as the temple is concerned, we want to give each other maxims that we can dwell on, maxims that we can return to, ideas that we actually share. Our agency is one of those things that we share. As a noun, agency can refer to the state of being active, usually in the service of a goal, or having the power, the capability to produce an effect or an expert influence. That is an agency. With this maxim comes reminders of our tenet. Now, what we actually share is this process. We share the understanding that this process here is important. Pay attention to. I'm going to read it again because I know everybody doesn't have it handy real quick, but Jedi are active in the world, acting as people of thought and thinking like people of action. Be aware that the beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, habits become values, values determine destiny. Now, I said with this maxim agency also comes the reminder of our tenet. We have three. Here's where they can be a huge tool to to what we do as Jedi and to what we do as people as far as development is concerned. So focus is the art of pruning the irrelevant and pouring the best of your mind into what you're doing. Knowledge can be acquired by focusing on the task at hand. Wisdom is the application of pure knowledge, quiet knowledge, and experience through patience and good judgment. Our development of this flow creates the agency in which we share. Now, in this flow, you find our beliefs become thoughts. Your thoughts in this flow, your thoughts, the reminders, the thoughts become words. Words become action. Actions become habits. Habits become values. Values determine your destiny. There's a progression. I hope that this reminds us exists. So I recommend this is for a Monday morning meditation. This is we start off the week with this big idea of our agency. So what I recommend is that we take the time to understand this flow of progression. If nothing else, give it the place to flow in our thought, our feeling, and our will. Understand that it exists. To see this is to see a small glimpse into that type of progression. So my encouragement is the maxim that we have is the actual maxim that we have. Make the effort to give it some space. Still fairly new to all of us, even myself. We are thought, feeling, and will, and in those parts of us, place our agency there, place our flow, place what we are acknowledging and understanding exists. Now, this is the part of the reflection time where we get to the meat of it. Now, this is part of the lesson as well as part of the theme is that where do we get our beliefs from? We learn them, but they given to us. Are our beliefs our own? Our thoughts, words, actions, habits, values are all connected to our destiny in a way that each other influences one another. Each of them has a play, a part in the entire thing. So giving these connections the time that they need to understand gives can give us a better understanding of our destiny, of the grand scheme of things, of the bigger picture of what's going on. So journal your findings. Give these connections the time that they need and journal your findings. Find those you trust to talk to about these things. This is very important because there are lots of willing, able individuals who will give you the time and effort, but something happens when you find people you trust, people who have been there. Find those people, talk to those people that you trust. Work on that um, connection that you have, um, and start journaling it. Take the time to develop things like that because in life it's the connection that's where life is the connections between me and you, because in reality there's no really not them, just me and you. So take the time to understand those connections. Take the time that our agency is the fact that we are connected, every living thing, by the force. It doesn't say that we're all connected by Pastor Carlos Martinez III. That's not the point. The point is that we are all living and connected to each other. Use your mentors. Funny thing about mentors is they kind of give you time that you didn't know you had or that you were missing. This is our agency. This is what we do. We want to talk to you. We want to spend time with you. We want to reflect with you. We want to show you some of the things that we've reflected, some of the things that we've gone on. And no one person here is the definitive in anything. That's not the purpose of what we do. We share what we understand. I've come through a different type of understanding than others have. And in that, I found out that we understand the same thing, maybe not in the same way, but the same thing. There's more than one way to find faithfulness. There's more than one way to find forgiveness. There's more than one level of many things that we encounter in life. So the idea is to understand what our agency is, to understand where it can dwell and what it can do. Because once we understand that what we believe, where it first starts, what we believe, that becomes our thought. That's where the whole process starts. One of my mentors says, I'm just trying to change the way you think. Man, if he can, and and that specific mentor has, because I don't think the same as I used to. But the agency is to think, to get you to think, to get you to the mentors, to get you to develop yourself, to get you to. And it's not that we're trying to make some grand thing of we're the best and kudos to us and you're the worst and we're the best Zooks and you're the worst Zooks. We eat ours with the butter side up and you eat yours with the butter side down. That's definitely not the point of what we do. One of the points that we do here, one of the things that we share, is we want to share understanding. So this maxim is given to us to understand how, in a way, this progression exists. This is here. You want to change your destiny. You want to understand your destiny a little more. You want to adjust it a little bit. Then there's a process that exists that from your beliefs come thoughts. And then those thoughts come what you say. What you say turn into things you do. And the things you do them over and over again. And those things that you do over and over again, they become something of a value. You actually, and then things that you value, well, that determines your destiny. So this exists. Now, do remember that we have in life, when you do reflect, when you do all these things, and when you take time for this, do remember that our tenets are there, those three tenets. You can get to them real quick. Our tenets are there: focus, knowledge, wisdom. Use these as you progress in your understanding of things, as you grow, as you learn, as you challenge one another, as you spend time with each other, as you grow. Take time to understand that our agency is the process that we share, because this isn't something fictional. This isn't something that we don't believe. We believe these things work. I believe these things work. I put myself out in the middle of an uncomfortable zone, but um, the understanding that I get from things like this, they help me. They really do. So the idea is these are done on Monday morning. Take this during the week and to realize process of everything that we're doing. There is a process. Beliefs become thoughts. That's why it's so important to understand what you believe, because from that point, everything else is connected one way or another. It's all connected. So to drop the bug, so you hear it. So it's written in the back of your mind somewhere, because our brains are like that. We can hear something one time or one time only, and it'll burn the back of our brains forever. This probably isn't going to be one of those, but it's possible. Just putting it out there. But Jedi active in the world, acting as people of thought and thinking like people of action. Be aware that beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become words, words become action, actions become habits, habits become values, and values determine destiny. So it's my hope that as we grow with each other and as these lessons come out, and more maxims come out, that we take some time to understand them, take them with you, put them in your mind, put them in your heart. These are things that we believe. I mean, these are things that we come together and we say that this is what we strive for, to understand. This is part of the understanding that we share. So give this its space, and you may not understand it at the very beginning. Um, that's okay. There's a lot of things in the world I don't understand, but the fact that they're there later on in time, my brain will pull them up. I'll remember something. Uh, I'll notice that everything will start to line up again. It's like, thank you for the reminder that all that's connected somehow, some way I don't understand. It happens. So just give this some space, and I can almost assure you that the more you cultivate thoughts and ideas like this, um, the more you will understand. And it's in that understanding that you can find different forms of peace and different flows. So um, this is my Monday morning meditation for everybody. Take this with you during the week. If you like it, I'll be Monday morning again. Not this Monday, but the following Monday after this. But I'd like to open this up for questions, comments, concerns. Feel free. It's an open floor. You got more people than I'm normally used to, so feel free to interact. Alex?
This maxim kind of reminds me of that experiential learning cycle that I was talking about earlier. It is interesting that like you can have an experience or have a thought, and that's the beginning of the whole cycle. But sorry, cat. Yeah, so like once you have that thought and you start kind of moving through the process, that cycle, the initial thought is like the beginning of the hero's journey or the cycle, and then you move through each one. But in each one, you still have to reflect and you still have to process what it is that you're thinking and how it's evolving into the next step so that eventually it becomes the thing that you do, the way you live your life.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious as to how when it isolates the thought, because thought generally comes as a sort of a continuum. So upon which, and it's hardly conceivable to be able to think a thought and think about thinking that thought at the same time. That's what we would call metacognition. That thinking about thought. So I'm just curious as to where in that we tend to isolate the thought which we think we're going to pursue. Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, isn't that what the tenants are for? Give us a little guidance, a little direction, reminders of what to think when we're thinking, or which to pick. I mean, I used to sit there and try to make sense of everything. There's too much in my brain some days. It just all looks like flashes, blah, 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 and it's just wow. Sometimes the tenants help to remind myself, you know, focus, knowledge, and wisdom. To here you go, take those and figure out what to think about. Sometimes,
The metacognitive step isn't a useless one either. I mean, to take time to think about how we think about things, you know, not necessarily what, because, you know, once again, that's just a sort of a continuum. But the when we think about, you know, how you that I think that is useful. That's what Plato referred to as an analyzed life. Epicurus as well, I think.
mhm.
And so it's not so much that we're thinking about thoughts, it's that our beliefs are creating those thoughts. So the belief is actually the foundation. And then, like you were saying, like your mentor is teaching you to think differently. That's how your beliefs are formed because they're not a conscious thing. Like you don't think about the thought, thought happens, but that comes from your belief. Yeah.
That's kind of the idea, is to figure out which is which.
Yeah.
That's kind of the last class of reflection, but that's kind of the point, is that when you get to that point, is that just an automatic? Is that an actual thought? Is that an actual, where does that belong? Reflection helps a lot with that. Where did that thought come from? That's not from my beliefs. I've had several of those where in my life where like that kind of thinking didn't, nope, where did that come from? And then you can pinpoint it eventually if you take time for it during reflection. But it's just neat to see that process, because it's very, it works. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It works.
Now I'm kind of hung up on how perspective shapes thought.
What is your perspective? What is perspective?
Well, I get what perspective is, but I don't know, my brain's just falling down the rabbit hole of if I had lived a different life,
That's
or if I was sitting over there instead of over here, would my thought be the same thought currently having?
Jedi Teaching 5 reminds us that we are beings of thought, feeling, and will. You take the time to understand your thoughts, which ones are yours, which ones are your feelings, which ones are your will. That's all you. That's a basic ego understanding of, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but it's basically just understanding how much of that in our past is directly influenced by us sometimes. It's sometimes I used to think that I was a wielder of the force. I could make things happen. When I first started all this, and I was hoping to learn to choke somebody. Ain't no lie about it. Like, I was thinking that if I could learn to push a few things to the left and to the right, that would be fine by me. But my heart changed after a while. My ideas changed. My will changed. I don't have the same will as I first did when I first entered the temple. There's a lot of things that has changed, and that's kind of the understanding, is to understand those basics that were thought, feeling, and will. Once we understand that, then a lot of other things start coming into play. A lot of other things start. It's an influential understanding, and I'm sure that's not an official anything, but it's all connected. Once you start, you start down a path that it's amazing. Your perspective plays a lot in your thought, your feeling, and your will. Truly, it played a big part in how I see things and how I do this. Man, and there are so many times when I sat in the garden as a warrior, proud, just sitting there, and for some reason it happened. I was just grateful to be in the garden. And that's kind of the idea, is that I'm no longer, what I used to be, or what things have grown. Like, I'm grateful to be in the garden today. I'm grateful to be where I am now. I did not understand how to be grateful in the past, but things like that can be cultivated. I'm not nice. I'm kind. I learned to be kind. Things like that can actually be cultivated. You can cultivate mercy and forgiveness. You can learn a lot, and that's kind of the point, is to become willing to grow. And these maxims are like little seeds that if we just put them in our little pot, put them in our little cups, put them in our little spaces, just put them there. Let it the some plants, they take forever to grow. Sheesh, I got one set of squash that doesn't grow until winter, but you have to plant it before summer. That's just the way some things grow, and the growth rate is different, and the growth rate is different for every single one of us. So the idea is to give something big enough like a maxim, so that way it's like a big piece of butter. You just put it on your bread, whatever kind of bread you eat, put the butter on the bread. So
Sorry, your analogies always get me. I'm gonna have to put the butter on the bread in my head all day long now.
put the butter on the bread, Zero. Yeah, got him. I got him by his belly. That's it. My wife said that she's gonna find a pig. But you gotta come next year. For a camping trip.
We'll see what I can make happen. No,
Small
Alexander's
little
gonna.
pig. The pigs are about that big.
What are you gonna do with that?
Small little pig. Cook it.
No, we need a 200-pounder and a bonfire.
What? No. You see, you got about 30 people. You need a tiny, tiny pig. Understand? So that way it sits there all day in the ground. And it just well let's end this officially. Zero. You got me. But thank you for the time. Thank you for this platform. I'll put all my notes up so everyone can see them and share. We'll link you and all that stuff. But the idea is to cultivate these ideas, to give each other reminders of these things. You know, there's times when Alex will remind me of this or hey, that, or Zero will drop a note, and it's just that's the idea. It's to always keep going. It's to always is to cultivate, is to understand more. So thank you for this space of understanding where we can come and share. Appreciate it. Any questions before we end officially? We're just kind of chit chatting. All right, going once, going twice. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. May the force be with you all.